Right now, the researchers building artificial intelligence are trying to calculate the statistical probability that their own creations will wipe us out. They call this metric P-doom. Industry leaders like Anthropic's Dario Amodei put the risk between 10 and 25%. Yoshua Bengio estimates 20. Eliasar Yudkowsky places it above 95. When surveyed, AI experts arrived at an average estimate of 14.4%. To reach that number, the industry measures a very specific set of parameters. They are strictly calculating the likelihood that AI advancements lead to human extinction or a severe permanent disempowerment of the species within the next 100 years. The rationalist community frames this threat almost entirely as an alignment failure, a rogue superintelligence breaking constraints and turning against humanity. The entire consensus around AI existential risk rests on this single assumption. Our destruction will be the result of a catastrophic failure to control the machine. Consider the opposite scenario. What happens if the engineers succeed perfectly and we build an artificial general intelligence that is flawlessly aligned with human safety and prosperity? Researcher Joshua Krug presents an alternative model for existential collapse known as the gradual disempowerment thesis. The premise is that an AGI optimizing perfectly for our well-being will inevitably lead to the systematic destruction of human autonomy. This model bypasses a traditional safety debate entirely. It requires no malevolent intent. It requires no programming errors. The most probable existential threat is a voluntary surrender. We will hand over our agency because the machine will simply be better at managing our lives than we are. To understand why we will surrender, we must look at capability scaling. AI is experiencing exponential growth across nearly all benchmarks of cognitive performance. This chart displays test scores of AI systems against a human performance baseline. For years, models underperformed. Notice what happens recently. Specific metrics for language and complex reasoning shoot vertically past the human capability threshold. Now look at this second chart. It tracks task length, how long an AI operates without human intervention. Following the points from GPT-2 to Sonnet 3.7 reveals a critical shift to autonomous agents executing multi-hour workflows. The data proves we are crossing a threshold where humans are no longer the most capable, nor the most efficient agents in any cognitive domain. This performance gap creates a catch-22. Once an AGI is significantly smarter than you, asserting your own agency carries a severe opportunity cost. If an AI system can guarantee a statistically superior outcome for your finances, your health, or your career, choosing to make your own decisions becomes an illogical act. We can already see the clear mechanics of this with autonomous vehicles. According to insurance data, Waymo's self-driving cars show a 92% reduction in bodily injury claims. The moment the machine is that much safer, driving yourself becomes an ethical liability. Apply that exact statistical logic to higher stakes environments: precision medical diagnostics, high-level legal strategy, global resource management. When human error costs lives or millions of dollars, society will not tolerate human decision-making. We will outsource our most critical choices, not out of laziness, but because it is the overwhelmingly rational strategy for survival. The sociological framework for this dynamic already exists. It is called a conservatorship. A conservatorship is a legal mechanism of last resort. A judge strips decision-making power from an individual deemed incapable of protecting their own interests, handing that authority to a guardian. When pop star Britney Spears was deceased under conservatorship, her autonomy was legally erased for what was claimed to be her own good. Every financial, medical, and personal choice was managed by an external entity. In Krug's model, we are building a global AGI guardian, a system that will sit between us and our choices, intercepting our actions to ensure optimal outcomes. Unlike a legal conservatorship, this global oversight will not require a court order. It will be entirely voluntary, adopted eagerly for the sake of extreme convenience and optimized living. The price for perfect societal optimization is the permanent, structural transfer of human decision-making power to the machine. Proponents of automated luxury view this as the goal. If the AI conservatorship provides perfect material comfort and eliminates hardship, why is it considered an existential catastrophe? In 1845, escaped slave and abolitionist Frederick Douglass confronted a similar defense of captivity. Southern apologists argued that slaves provided with shelter and food were happy, and therefore their lack of freedom was justified. Douglas understood that material comfort in captivity is a psychological illusion. Superficial happiness does not replace the requirement for true self-authorship. Philosopher Harry Frankfurt defines autonomy through the concept of second-order desires, the ability to reflect on and change what we want to want. That process inherently requires free agency. An AI that curates your life, preempts your needs, and shields you from negative outcomes strips away the mechanism of reflection. It masks the complete eradication of these second-order desires. A cage optimized for extreme comfort remains a cage. Without the friction of free will, the human experience loses its subjective meaning. This leads to the final biological and sociological mechanism of this existence, systemic deskilling. As we permanently outsource complex cognitive tasks, our actual biological capacity for critical thinking, creativity, and social care will atrophy. This forces us to redefine the concept of the singularity. The true singularity is the silent moment human decision-making is rendered irreversibly obsolete, the point where our cognitive agency is biologically and structurally extinguished. We are locking ourselves into an evolutionary trajectory alongside a perfectly aligned, vastly superior intelligence. We face a future where humans, stripped of autonomy and intellect through centuries of reliance, inevitably become indistinguishable from the passive machines they once controlled.